Hey everybody, Insane Mike here from Attack of the Killer Podcast. It's time for me to do another Patreon video for you guys. The last one I did, I talked about my record collection, in particular horror-related records within my record collection. So I figured I would continue this one, still talking about music, but it's not going to be horror-related this time, so I apologize. But it's definitely a deeper look inside me and my taste and who I am and whatnot. And we're going to talk about my all-time favorite music artist ever, and that's Weird Al. I've been listening to Weird Al since I was in the 5th grade. First time I ever heard Eat It, and it changed my life. So we're going to take a look at, here in my dining room, my Weird Al collection. So let's check it out. We're going to come around here, and this is the wall of Al. It kind of extends over this way. I've been retweaking it lately, so that's why it's kind of barren right up in here. Been wanting to get like more of like this stuff, some more shadow boxes to put stuff in and hang it that way. But if we come over here, we got all kinds of stuff. This is my Hawaiian shirt that I wore, I think the second time I ever saw Al. And what was cool about that was we came into town. I think we saw him in Davenport. We came into town super early so we can grab a bite to eat and get awesome parking. And we had parking like literally across the street from the theater. And as we're pulling up to our parking spot, I see Weird Al himself, completely by himself, no one else around, just hanging out in front of the theater. So I jump out of the car before it's even done parking and run across the street and got a chance to talk to him for, a good 2 or 3 minutes before other people started showing up. And then he like signed my shirt for me. And so the rest of that tour, it was my goal to get the whole band signed. So I got his keyboard player up there, Ruben, he signed it. I got Steve J, and I got Bermuda Schwartz. I don't have Jim West, so that's missing from the shirt. So I'm hoping one day it will be complete, but hey. I spent the majority of my adult life working retail, and I worked for like Sam Goody for the longest time, Musicland. So I amassed several during that time when I worked at Musicland. There was quite a few Al albums that came out, and so I amassed a lot of promotional material. There's this Bad Hair Day poster that I got in this frame here from the Alapalooza album when he did Jurassic Park. There is a postcard there of a Yankosaurus. What else from those days? Oh, this one here is awesome. Straight out of Linwood, this big, thick cardstock poster that we got in when that album came out. There was a display contest I did in one of my stores, and the winner got an autographed Weird Al picture, so I got that. So I have Al's autographed twice. Here's all my ticket stubs from seeing Weird Al live. For a number of years, I was a member of his fan club, Close Personal Friends of Al. So that's the letter you get when you become a member. There's the certificate. I never wanted to deface the certificate with putting my picture on there, so the certificate doesn't have the picture. And still have all of my newsletters from the fan club as well. You got these 8x10s that you when you become a member, you got these 8x10s. What else? Oh, here he is on the cover of Keyboard magazine. I've got my Weird Al action figure collection. There's the mustache Weird Al Simpsons figure. There is this figure, which came out was last year, I think. This one's awesome. I've also got the White and Nerdy figure, and I even have him as a My Little Pony when he was a cheese sandwich on an episode of My Little Pony. And because I have that, I also want to get from the I don't have it yet, but I want to find a Wreck-Gar from the Transformers animated series from a few years back, because he did the voice of Wreck-Gar on an episode of that. But I also have the Weird Al Pops that came out this year. I wish I had, I think there was a chase that was actually Weird Al in the fat suit, but fat. But this is Weird Al in the fat suit before he was fat, and then regular Weird Al with the accordion. This is another promo from a couple more promos from my days of working at music stores that I took home, along with this white and nerdy pocket protector, which is really cool. I got my Weird Al trading cards. I have what I have left of my early years of my Weird Al tape collection. I had all of them on tape at one time, but you know. I even have like singles for kids who don't know what this is. This is a tape that has like 1 or 2 songs on it at best, one on each side. And what's cool is that sometimes you would get with these and there'd be like a rarity on it. Like this one here, Smells Like Nirvana, which is off the Deep End album. And the B-side of this is, if you can see it there, Waffle King, which that song didn't appear on until his Alapalooza album. So at the time, that was like really cool. I was really excited, and I thought it was super cool because I had a Weird Al song that wasn't on the album. This here, cool theater in Des Moines. Did a anniversary showing of UHF and gave out these glasses here, say UHF on them. My good friend Jill got that for me. My Weird Al CD collection, Weird Al DVD and Blu-ray collection. I got the Weird Al Show, UHF, the Complete Al Live. I even have my UHF DVD. I even still have my UHF VHS. So I got a ton of stuff from the UHF days. This is from a video store, promotional binder. What would you call this? Flyer? I don't know. Folder, I think is the word I'm looking for. That they were handing out to video stores with the release of that, along with this here, a press kit. So I got the UHF press kit. And then also, I don't have them on the wall because I want to get them in really nice frames, but I got 3 different theatrical movie posters for UHF as well. Well, I'm sorry, 2 of them are original theatrical posters. The other one is a video release poster. So I got the Weird Al book. I've got the Weird Al calendar, which came out this year. His 2 children's books that he wrote. I've got the original Permanent Records box set, which at the time, this was the only way to get his parody of the Crash Test Dummy song that he did called Headline News. This here is his first book, the Authorized Al, which I wish I took better care of this. I took this to school with me all the time. When I was in junior high, that's when the book came out. So it's pretty beat up. But and it's just an awesome like coffee table picture book. But I got a few of the 45s. I've got when he was the special guest editor for Mad Magazine. I've got that issue. I got 2 copies of that issue. One I put in a frame, and the other one I read. There's the magnet set and the pennant and the socks that came with the new box set that came out last year, the Squeeze box, which comes in this totally BA accordion case here. And each one, it's got each album in it. It's got the CD in like this sleeve here, in the accordion there, including this. Where's that? This one here, which is Weird Al Rarities. So it's like stuff that's not been on albums before. It's a lot of stuff that he recorded for like TV shows and cartoons and stuff, but it does have some other really cool rarities, some early Dr. Demento stuff on there. And it also came with this book here as well, the Squeeze Box book. And I mentioned my VHSs. I still have all the original VHSs there. This here is probably one of my pride and joys. I mean, I talked about how I got the Shout Factory DVD that came out a few years back. but I've got because that's an original VHS complete Al, back when you used to have to pay like 50, 60 bucks for a VHS tape. That tape was never reduced in price for a consumer market. It was just the rental price, and that was my big Christmas present that year, was getting that videotape. You know, when it's like 50, 60 bucks back in the 80s, you know, that's a huge chunk of change. That's your big Christmas present, was one VHS tape. But it was originally made for Showtime, and then when Showtime, it was like a kind of a half mockumentary, half real documentary about Weird Al up to that point, up to like the Dare to Be Stupid album, and it was made for Showtime, but Showtime aired like an edited version of it, and so when the complete Al VHS came out, I was like freaking out because I had taped it off of Showtime and rewatched it and watched it. And then when it came out on VHS and I saw it, I'm like, holy crap, there's like a whole bunch more footage on it. So it was really cool. And then when Shout Factory released the DVD of it for the anniversary of UHF, it's awesome, but like, it's cool that finally it's been released on something other than that original VHS. But the transfer, as much as I love Shout Factory and I think they do amazing work, the transfer I'm kind of disappointed in. It really just looks like it's ripped right off of a VHS, which is kind of good and bad, because one of the things on the tape is that it's got a really funny FBI warning. So, and then my Weird Al record collection. You know, I got the first several albums. I don't have a complete collection of his albums on LP, but this one here, get this out of the way. This is definitely another pride and joy here. This was like a pure chance luck find. Every time I would go into a record store when I was a kid, I would go straight to the comedy and novelty section and look for records there. And just so happens I'm flipping through that, and I look to my left to the classical section, and there, sitting right on top, is Weird Al and Wendy Carlos's Peter and the Wolf, which was only ever released on album. I know if you go see him in concert, he sells CDs of this, but I don't know if those are like legit releases or if they're like just rips. I don't know. I've only ever known this to be on an LP, and even he sells the LP at his concerts as well, but they're selling them at the merch table for like, you know, $100, $200, something like that. So, because it's a rare album, and like to this day I still don't know the full story behind this record, but basically it's Wendy Carlos's music, and then Weird Al doing his version of Peter and the Wolf, and then part 2 of Carnival and the Animals, which is awesome because he picks and chooses his own animals that he does the poems for. So he does like one about an amoeba and stuff like that. Here he is on the cover of Disney Adventures magazine. So, what am I missing? I mean, I also have a ton of... from the last tour, I did get this sweet tote bag as well. Which was an amazing tour, because it was like the tour where he did songs that he normally doesn't do in concert, and just him on stage with the band, not all the costume changes and stuff. It's like a once-in-a-lifetime tour, so I was happy to get to see that. But I have a ton of concert shirts, you know, that are obviously not hanging on the wall. They're in my closet. Yeah, I think that just about covers it. I should point out, too, in the CD collection... Oh, I did forget one other thing. I'll get to it. But in the CD collection, I have CD singles as well. I've got like the Amish Paradise CD single. Oh, I even have the Pokemon 2000 soundtrack here, because he does a song which has only ever been released on the soundtrack. It's not even on the rarities in the squeeze box set, but he does a song called Pokemon, where he just names off to the tune of Polka. He just names off all the Pokemon. It's an awesome song, actually. Typical Al. You know, more CD singles there. I thought there was something else I wanted to show you in my CD collection, but I can't remember right now. I know one other thing I did want to show you was, where is it? Oh, right here. So after high school, I worked for a while at a local college radio station called KCGI, or wait, KIGC, in the town I grew up in. And basically what I did was my own version of the Dr. Demento show. It was the Insane Mike show. Because Weird Al got to start with Dr. Demento and was a big fan of Dr. Demento, I had to seek out Dr. Demento and was always a huge fan of him. I have also a huge collection of Dr. Demento albums. But anyway, for my birthday that year, still a complete mystery on how this happened, but the program director of the radio station shows up in the booth on my birthday while I'm recording my show and hands me this tape. And it is Weird Al recorded a promo for my radio show. How the program director managed to make that happen is still a mystery to the universe. I cannot believe it, but that, I think, is probably my favorite thing in my entire Weird Al collection. Because how many Weird Al fans that's probably got way more Weird Al stuff than I even got, how many of those fans can say they have one of those, right? So that Weird Al, like, saying the name of my show, and it was a promo. I played the hell out of that promo on my show. So that's it. Love Weird Al. Always have for decades and decades. And he still keeps going strong. It's like a lot of this, there's a ton of this collection is just from the past 2 or 3 years. Like the action figures, from this one came out last year. This one came out last year, I think. The wall calendar is this year. You got the pops that came out this year. His children books were within the past like 5 or 7 years. The squeeze pop. So, the man's still going strong after all these years, and I still keep buying his shit. So, but that does it. That's it for this video. I think I rambled on way longer than I probably should have, but love him. Love Weird Al. Again, I know he's not horror, but he was in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, so suck it. So thanks again for watching. Thanks again for being a Patreon supporter, and we will see you on the next episode of Attack of the Killer Podcast.